Hello, everybody. This is Russ, and I am back with Epic Pwnage News, Week 14 for the NFL. And here's your weekly recap, starting off with Thursday Night Football last week. The New England Patriots and Pittsburgh Steelers went on to have a pretty decent game. Pittsburgh ended up losing the game 21-18. It's the first time that a team over 500 has lost in back-to-back weeks to teams under 500. The week before, Pittsburgh lost to Arizona, and now this week they lose to the New England Patriots, who became the second team eliminated from postseason contention. Offensive spotlight, though, in the game was Patriots quarterback Bailey Zappi. Acquitted himself well, recording 80.8% adjusted completion percentage and averaging 8.6 yards per attempt on Thursday night. His one turnover-worthy play ended up being picked off at a pivotal moment in the game, too, but he also produced two big-time throws. Overall, fans in Foxborough breathed a heavy sigh of relief on Thursday night as the New England Patriots looked like a very different outfit from the one that put up just 13 points over the previous three games. Zappi finished 19 of 28 for 240 yards and 3 touchdowns to only 1 interception, leading the team to a victory over Kenny Pickett, to a team that did not have Kenny Pickett starting in the lineup for tonight. Mitchell Trubisky got the start for Pittsburgh. He went 20 of 33, 144 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Ezekiel Elliott had a pretty good game, 22 carries for 68 yards, and his longest run of the day was 12 yards. Moving on, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took on the Atlanta Falcons in a rematch from earlier in the year. The Buccaneers ended up taking down the Falcons in this one. They defeated the Atlanta Falcons 29-25 in an early afternoon battle of the NFC South opponents. Falcons receiver Drake London was the top offensive performer of the day. London finished the game with 172 yards on 10 catches for a team-high 11 targets. Buccaneers defensive back, though, Carlton Davis III, made the most impactful play of the day when he intercepted a Desmond Ridder pass to give the Bucs a red zone opportunity. Unfortunately, Davis did not finish the game due to a groin injury. Falcons running back Bijan Robinson recorded 34 rushing yards on 10 carries and 54 receiving yards on 5 catches. He also scored a rushing touchdown. Baker Mayfield finished the game 14 of 29, passing with 144 yards and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Desmond Ridder, though, finished the game 26 of 40, 347 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Baltimore Ravens versus the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams rookie pass catchers continue to impress. Wide receiver Puka Nacua caught 5 passes for 84 yards, though he did have a particularly bad drop when he turned upfield before pulling the ball in. The surprise star of the show was rookie tight end Davis Allen, who caught 4 passes for 50 yards and a touchdown. For the Ravens, Zay Flowers saw more looks downfield, turning 10 targets into 6 receptions for 60 yards and a touchdown. This game would go into overtime, knotted up at 31-31. Baltimore would get the ball first in the overtime regulation, having to punt it away to the Rams, who stalled out and would punt it back. And during the punt, backup punt returner Tylan Wallace for this Baltimore Ravens sealed the contest in overtime with a 76-yard punt return for a touchdown. Matthew Stafford finished the game 23 of 41 passing, 294 yards and 3 touchdowns. Lamar Jackson went 24 of 43 for 316 yards and 3 touchdowns to 1 interception. Detroit Lions took on the Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears would down the Detroit Lions 28-13. Lions running back Jahmyr Gibbs totaled 66 yards and a touchdown on 11 carries, including a 36-yard scamper that got Detroit down in the red zone in the first half. He added 3 receptions for 16 yards, including a key third down conversion where he broke multiple tackles. Gibbs also dropped a crucial pass on a screen to the right where he appeared to have a lot of running room ahead of him, but he was the only player to provide much of a spark on offense for Detroit besides the occasional timely catch from tight end Sam Laporta. Cincinnati Bengals 34, Indianapolis Colts 14. Bengals defensive tackle B.J. Hill grabbed an interception today, so that has to be where we go for the defensive spotlight. Hill finished the game with an interception and 2 solo tackles. Gardner Minshew would finish the game 26 of 39 passing, 240 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Jake Browning was 18 of 24 for 2 touchdowns and 1 interception while tallying 275 yards on the day. Cleveland Browns beat the Jacksonville Jaguars 31-27. Jaguars wide receiver Parker Washington had an up and down game. He caught 2 of the 3 passes thrown his way for 27 yards and a touchdown, but he also had a costly fumble after the fact. Joe Flacco, though, found tight end David Njoku for a 34-yard touchdown to give the Browns a 7-0 lead early in the first quarter. They connected again for a 30-yard touchdown to bring the lead to 14 points. The Jaguars got on the board midway through the second quarter, Trevor Lawrence finding Evan Ingram for a 10-yard touchdown to trail 14-7 at the half. Trevor Lawrence finished the game 28 of 50 passing for 3 touchdowns but 3 interceptions as well. Joe Flacco finished the game with 26 of 45 passing, 311 yards, and 3 touchdowns to only 1 interception. New Orleans Saints beat the Carolina Panthers 28-6. The stats won't blow anybody away, but this was an excellent performance from Saints quarterback Derek Carr, particularly given that he is battling through a broken rib cartilage and is missing multiple offensive weapons. Carr completed 18 of his 26 passes for 119 yards, averaging just 4.6 yards per attempt, but he finished with an 81.8% adjusted completion percentage rate, and some of his better plays didn't show up in this box score. New York Jets beat the Houston Texans 30-6. Both teams generated significant quarterback pressure this game. Multiple Jets recorded a 20-plus pass rush win rate, pending the grade review, though. Quinnen Williams notched a sack and a knockdown of C.J. Stroud, including a hit where Stroud's head bounced off the turret and forced him to be evaluated for concussion. Minnesota Vikings and Las Vegas Raiders, not really a lot to talk about here. The game was knotted up at 0-0 into the fourth quarter. Minnesota would win the game 3-0. San Francisco 49ers, Seattle Seahawks, Niners win 28-16. The offensive spotlight here does go to Seahawks wide receiver Tyler Lockett. He hauled in 6 receptions for 89 yards, and Metcalf had 2 receptions for 52 yards and a score. Backup quarterback Drew Lock had the starting role today as Geno Smith was unable to go with a groin injury. He completed 11 of his 16 passes for 112 yards and a touchdown in the first half. A few turnover-worthy throws copped up in the second half, but Lock was serviceable against a good 49er defense. Buffalo Bills 20, Kansas City Chiefs 17. Defensive spotlight here goes to Chiefs defensive back Trent McDuffie, who had an impactful game, recording 6 tackles and a sack. McDuffie is ascending into one of the top young cornerbacks in the league this year. Denver Broncos 24, Los Angeles Chargers 7. Led by a stout defense, the Broncos secured a very comfortable victory over the Chargers on the road in Week 14. Russell Wilson continued his efficient performance this season, completing 21 of his 33 passes for 224 yards. He also made a couple of big-time throws down the field that Jerry Jeudy failed to come up with. Wilson averaged 6.8 yards per attempt, but he recorded just an 86.2 adjusted completion rate. Russell Wilson finished the game 21 of 33, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, only 1 interception. And Justin Herbert finished the game 9 of 17 as he went down early with a right index finger injury, which is now is going to keep him out for the rest of the year. Easton Stick came in and completed 13 of 24 passes for 179 yards. Dallas Cowboys 33, Philadelphia Eagles 13. Philadelphia drops their second straight game in back-to-back weeks. Despite the result, A.J. Brown, though, put up another solid performance, catching 9 of his 12 targets for a game-high 94 receiving yards and 5 first downs. 2 of his catches went for 15 or more yards, and he secured his only contested target again, according to PFF's first run analysis. There are a couple of plays Brown would want to have come back, as he also dropped a pass and coughed up a fumble early in the third quarter. Tennessee Titans versus Miami Dolphins. This was a pretty good game, and going into the fourth quarter with 3 minutes left, there was Miami had a 13-point lead as they were up 27-14 against the 27-13 against the Titans. and the Dolphins gave up 14 points in 3 minutes. Titans would come back and win the game 28-27. And for the stats for the game, Will Levis went 23 of 38 for 327 yards, 1 touchdown to 1 interception. Tua Tagovailoa went 23 of 33 for 240 yards. Derrick Henry, 17 carries, 34 yards, 2 touchdowns. And DeAndre Hopkins, 7 receptions, 124 yards, and a score on the day. And now for the final game of the week, the Green Bay Packers versus the New York Giants. The New York Giants would come to play today, as Tommy DeVito would lead the Giants to a win, a much-needed win on the season, dropping the Packers to 6-7 on the year. Jordan Love went 25 of 39, 218 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Tommy DeVito, though, had a stellar performance, 17 of 21, only missing 4 passes in this game, 150 yards, and 1 touchdown. Saquon Barkley, though, was a big bright spot for the New York Giants, who had 20 carries, 86 yards, and 2 scores. And now for your standings recap as we get headed into the playoffs. Playoff season is upon us. And as far as games go, as far as clinching scenarios go, only one team has now managed to clinch their spot into the postseason officially, and that would be the San Francisco 49ers. So, currently in the AFC East, you have the New England Patriots at 3-10, who are eliminated. New York Jets at 5-8. Buffalo Bills at 7-6. You have the Miami Dolphins leading the division by 2 games at 9-4. In the AFC West, you have Las Vegas Raiders and Los Angeles Chargers, both tied at 5-8 for last place in the division. Denver is at 7-6, and Kansas City is at 8-5. Denver does have a shot at maybe overtaking Kansas City for the division title. In the AFC North, you have Cincinnati at 7-6, the Cleveland Browns at 8-5, Pittsburgh also 7-6, I should add, and Baltimore at 10-3. And in the AFC South, you have the Tennessee Titans at 5-8, the Houston Texans at 7-6, the Indianapolis Colts at 7-6, and the Jacksonville Jaguars at 8-5. In the NFC West, you have Arizona at 3-10, Seattle and Los Angeles both at 6-7 after suffering crucial defeats this week. And then you have in the NFC East, the Washington Commanders at 4-9, the New York Giants at 5-8, Philadelphia and Dallas both tied for the division lead at 10-3 after Dallas's much-needed win over Philadelphia. In the dreadful NFC South, you have the Carolina Panthers at 1-12, who are eliminated from postseason contention. New Orleans Saints, Atlanta Falcons, and Tampa Bay Buccaneers all tied for first place with an abysmal 6-7 record. Chicago is sitting at 5-8 in last place in the NFC North. You have Green Bay in third place at 6-7, Minnesota at 7-6, and Detroit leading the division at 9-4. If the playoffs were to end today on your AFC side, we would have the Baltimore Ravens sitting at the 1 seed at 10-3. Your wildcard games would be 7 seed Indianapolis at 2nd seed Miami, 6 seed Pittsburgh at 3rd seed Kansas City, 5th seed Cleveland at 4th seed Jacksonville. In the NFC, if the playoffs ended today, your 1st seed and 1st round bye team would be the San Francisco 49ers at 10-3, and then your wildcard games would be as followed: 7 seed Green Bay at 2nd seed Dallas, 6 seed Minnesota at 3rd seed Detroit, and 5th seed Philadelphia at 4th seed Tampa Bay. Obviously, those aren't the official playoff games yet, as we still have a lot more football to play. But thank you guys so much for tuning in this week, and I will be back next week with Week 15 for your NFL recap. Should be an interesting shakeup depending on the outcomes of the games. Let us know down below what you guys are expecting for the playoffs, what teams you think could sneak in that are on the outside looking in at the moment, and what teams you expect and what teams you least expect to be doing well this late in the year. And also let us know if you think there's any weird scenarios that could potentially happen. There are multiple paths for teams that are sitting in the 2, 3, and 4 spots to get into the 1st seed, especially in the AFC. Cleveland even has a shot at making it to the 1st seed with a few things going right for them. Same thing with Detroit and Dallas also possibly getting that 1 seed as well and taking away from San Francisco. But anyway, until then, thank you guys so much for listening in on this. I have been Russ, and I will see you guys next week for Week 15. Don't forget to hit subscribe, like, and share this video, and help us get our name out there and continue to watch the content that we know y'all enjoy. Have a great night, folks.